Question is for you from the audience.
Okay.
With the recent announcement of early prisoner releases nationally, what is the expectation of increase in crime and recidivism and its impact in Cumberland County?
You know, Ken, the real test when the police show up is to see who stands up and turns around with his hands behind his back.
That's true. Yeah, make sure you show them your hands.
It's a very good question, and I have to say this was not planned, but I actually brought with me a piece that I wrote in 2006 that appeared in what was then known as the Patriot News. The purpose of the piece was to discuss and to point out that we need to have a discussion about who's really in jail. Before you listen to the conventional wisdom that the jails are filled with nonviolent offenders, I ask people to consider all the things that we do, and by we I mean the judges, the magisterial district judges, police, prosecutors, to keep people out of jail. You get a lot of chances before you go in. Now, we're 10 years down the road, almost, and there's a lot of talk, and there's a lot of combination of people on the right and the left getting together and talking about criminal justice reform. A lot of that is very necessary. But it's very disappointing, and I thought it was great when the president went and visited the prison, went and visited federal prison, just as it was when the Pope did. You know, but I always tell people, well, that Pope's really liberal. I said, it's his job to be the conscience of the world. Come on. But I was disappointed when the president and some of the candidates in the debates have said, well, you know, we have to stop locking people up for smoking a joint. Nobody gets locked up for smoking a joint. It just doesn't happen. And it does a disservice to the actual discussion that we need to have. The fact is our prisons are full, but they're not full of nonviolent offenders. The people that are in there for various reasons have committed violent offenses. Now let's have a discussion about who's in there and why and what we can do to make sure that they don't come back. The answer will never be to open up the doors. So the answer to the question is, if it's thoughtful and it's done in the right way, and we do it by getting people out through secure community correction centers, reintegrating them back into the community, making sure that treatment is part of it, and job opportunities and training. If we do that correctly, we shouldn't really worry that recidivism and violent crime will go back up. But if it's done incorrectly, as it's been done some places, and the doors to the prisons are just thrown open, we'll be right back where we were. Think back to the early 80s and the mid 80s, we'll be right back where we were with violent crime. So I know that this group in here is a thoughtful and appropriately skeptical group. Keep that skepticism when you're reading the conventional wisdom, and make sure that you demand actual answers and you demand a reasonable debate before these decisions are made. Thank you.
Do you recognize the county sheriff as the highest elected official empowered to uphold and protect individual liberties and rights of citizens in Cumberland County? Yes or no, and why?
No offense against the sheriff, but that's really not correct. The Commonwealth's Attorneys Act specifically states that the chief law enforcement officer of any county is the district attorney. But equally important, there's no one individual that is responsible for the safety and welfare of all of us. It has to be a team effort between the courts, the elected officials, the commissioners, and giving us the amount of money that's necessary, and the law enforcement officials. So to say that, well, it's only the sheriff is the person that is responsible for that particular aspect, that's simply not correct. We've got to work as a team, and it's a responsibility of everybody, and it really comes down to you, the citizens. What kind of government are you going to support? What are you going to make the demands with regard to, this is how safe we want to be? And that's the simple answer.
In the recent past, we've seen cases of alleged judicial activism and Attorney General non-defense of existing law, both in favor of advancing an alleged political agenda. What assurance, if any, can you give that should you be elected to a new term, that the basis of any ruling will be rooted in law and the state constitution?
Okay. Well, the best assurance I can give is that I've been doing it for 10 years, and that's what I use as the basis for all my decisions, is the law. I mean, as judges sitting on the bench, that's all we have, is the law. It doesn't, that's what you look to, that's what you turn to. That's why there is case law, that's why there is the Constitution, that's why it all is there. The lawyers are there to present their cases and argue the law their way, but it's our job to interpret the facts and decide it on the basis of what the law is.
graduate of Carlisle High School, Messiah College, where I have a degree in political science and history. I've taught school, I've worked in the private sector for insurance, and I've been the county treasurer, as I said, for some time. I've been actively involved in the community. I'm past president of the Cumberland County Unit of the American Cancer Society. I've been a trustee, served as the finance chairman and treasurer of the Church of God Home, which is only a couple blocks away from here. I've been treasurer for the County Treasurers Association for about 18 years. And in the last year, I had served as president of the County Treasurers Association, where I've been involved in legislative initiatives in regard to the county treasurer's office. County treasurers are the accounts receivable. It sounds really exciting. The accounts receivable office for the county. We oversee about 32 different accounts. We invest county funds along with the commissioners. I serve also in the county's retirement board. We also collect the county's hotel tax, but most of you are probably familiar because of our licensing. County licenses, dog license, fishing license, hunting license, doe license, but if you're involved in nonprofit groups, the small game to chance and the big doe license.